Hey everybody, tonight on Now, we know cost of living can get a little high in Maine. Turns out overall, the state is considered unaffordable. We'll explain.
And we know lead, a big problem in Maine. One representative showing the problem in Lewiston and a mother in Saco saying how it affected her family.
And a Mainer trying out for his spot in the Olympics, which, oh, by the way, are in 6 months.
This is News Center Now.
So I'm constantly on edge about everything being safe for him all the time.
A mother shares her son's story and struggle with lead poisoning. Good evening, I'm Chris Costa in for Lee Goldberg.
And I'm Amanda Hill. Many homes across the state we know are contaminated with lead. Today, one state lawmaker showed proof of that problem with a tour of her contaminated building. Representative Betty Ann Sheets, a Democrat from Auburn, showed her property in Lewiston to highlight a dangerous and ongoing problem in Maine. She says, like many homes in the Lewiston-Auburn area, her old building has lead paint, and finding someone to take care of it is difficult and expensive.
Knowing that families live here, I want to give them safe and comfortable homes. So yes, it's hard. Dealing with lead is an added level.
Now, as you can see along the bottom of your screen, this is the topic of our Pulse question tonight. Who should be responsible for removing lead? The state, city, or town? Or the property owner? We want to hear from you, so go to pulse.newscentermaine.com or our mobile app to weigh in.
Now, the Maine CDC, meanwhile, says half of all children poisoned by lead in Maine live in rental housing. Lead can cause learning disabilities, behavioral issues, hearing damage, language or speech delays. It can also lower intelligence, especially in young kids.
One mother in Saco believes her son's developmental disabilities are a direct result of lead poisoning. Now, while her son's condition has improved, she says he now lives with irreversible cognitive damage.
Cooper.
Every morning is busy for Christy Scammon. She has to help her 3-year-old son Cooper get ready for school.
Oh, you know, it's a chore.
He has autism.
We're doing everything we can to get him with early intervention.
Cooper also lives with a number of other health challenges, not eating, sleeping, or digesting food well. Christy believes these problems and his autism resulted from lead poisoning.
Yeah.
Doctors found a lead level more than 5 times the healthy amount in his blood when he was just 18 months old. Christy says he used to be able to say words like mama, but that his speech has regressed.
It's crushing to see your little guy that's sick. And you can't take it away from them. It can't make them better. It was tough.
After Cooper's diagnosis, the doctors contacted the state. An inspector came out and performed a series of tests and found in this report that Cooper's bedroom had a windowsill that tested at nearly 4 times the toxic level for lead.
So I'm constantly on edge about everything being safe for him all the time. And that's where the lead dust comes from.
Christy and her family are now in a different unit in that same building, one that state inspectors deemed safe. The lead paint has been painted over to keep the chips from flaking off into the apartment.
But if anything's peeling or chipping, it's not safe, especially if he's autistic.
Christy says a vitamin-filled juice that she makes for Cooper has helped. The lead in his blood is now at a level of 7.
There we go.
Still higher than what the state deems safe.
And he's going to school now. He's on the right path to become a successful adult. I love you. And that's what I want for him, because I love him so much.
Now, while there's no direct link between autism and lead poisoning, many of the symptoms are similar. Christy says the state has not yet come back to retest that apartment. According to the landlord at the time she moved in, Christy signed a lead disclosure form, which the federal government requires landlords to give to renters if they know of any lead hazards in the building. Now, the Maine CDC recommends blood testing for your child if he or she spends more than 10 hours per week in any house built before 1950. You can also request a free dust test kit from the state. You can contact the Maine CDC at 287-4311 or order one online.
A lot of you already weighing in on our Pulse question. About 82% of you say that the building owner should be responsible for getting rid of that lead, and we will keep that Pulse question going throughout the show. So again,
check
go
back
to
in at the end.
pulse.newscentermaine.com. Yep. All right. Meanwhile, police have arrested the man they believe was behind an elaborate apartment scam in Lewiston.
Police say Nate Poulin ripped off at least 3 people in the city, showing them an apartment and then collecting rent and a security deposit for it when the apartment was not actually available. Poulin is charged with several counts of theft by deception. Officers took him to the Androscoggin County Jail.
Now to a medical mystery from the American Cancer Society. Turns out colon cancer isn't just found in those who are a little bit older. In fact, death from colon cancer is rising in people in their 30s, 40s, and early 50s. As Erica Edwards reports, doctors don't really know why.
This is the best kind of chaos as far as Katie Rich is concerned.
There's a lot of noise, but there's a lot of love.
She was so busy being a mother for so many years, she may have missed symptoms of colon cancer. Her diagnosis, stage 4 cancer, came at age 33, just months after giving birth.
I never thought cancer, never. So it was a major shock.
After surgery and chemotherapy, Katie is doing well 5 years later. But new research finds a growing number of people in their 30s, 40s, and early 50s are not only diagnosed with colon cancer, they're dying from aggressive tumors.
It's shifting the burden of colorectal cancer to young families.
The American Cancer Society finds the rise in mortality is confined to white adults, and experts do not know why.
This increase in incidence is real. And it's scary because we don't know what's causing it.
Signs of colon cancer include persistent abdominal pain and changes in bowel habits.
It's okay to talk about your bowels. It's okay to get screened. Most of the time when we do a colonoscopy, when they're done, they say, God, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
The American Cancer Society recommends most people start colon cancer screenings at age 50. Given this new research, many doctors say those guidelines may need to be reevaluated. Erica Edwards, NBC News.
It's important to note the majority of colon cancers still occur in people over age 50, but you can reduce the risk of colon cancer at any age by cutting back on processed food, eating more whole grains, fruits and vegetables, and getting plenty of exercise. Always easier said than done. Yeah. All right, when it comes to housing overall, Maine is not considered affordable. We're looking at income levels compared to the cost of living in different parts of the state, and whether you're buying or renting, you may find yourself struggling to make those payments.
Plus, Maine's largest city makes a mistake. What happened and why rent control will not be on the November ballot.
I love to be a part of a team. I love feeling like I'm contributing to something larger than myself.
And meet an athlete from Maine hoping to be part of the 2018 Olympic Games, which begin 6 months from today, right here on News Center.
The city of Portland admits they messed up on an initiative to stabilize rents. Fair Rent Portland collected 2,500 signatures to submit to the city in an effort to get rent control on the November 7th ballot. The group submitted the signatures on the city's designated deadline of August 7th, yesterday. But then the city clerk's office said they could not be considered due to a clerical error. The deadline did not give enough time to schedule and hold a public hearing 90 days before the election. Members of Fair Rent Portland say they did not even know there was a problem until the media started asking them for comment.
Shock and disappointment. We had communicated with them several times over the course of months, and they'd been very clear that August 7th was the intended deadline in order to get on the November ballot. We were aware of the city charter, we were aware of the 90 days and the 10-day hearing period, and we went into them with that information in hand. And they basically assured us that August 7th provided us a reasonable path to the November ballot.
A spokesperson for the city of Portland says the city is looking into a solution to get the initiative on the ballot or possibly hold a separate special election for it.
All right, so this talk about rent prices inspired us to do some digging. Turns out, according to the Maine State Housing Authority, overall, when it comes to housing costs, Maine is not affordable. Lenders generally prefer homebuyers only spend between 25% and 30% of their income on housing costs. Same goes for renters. While Cumberland County's housing has always been considered out of the range of the average income, it's not just a big city battle. For nearly 2 decades, the Housing Authority has kept what it calls an affordability index, comparing the price of homes and the average rent to the average income of the area. Every year, Cumberland and York counties fail, specifically in the Portland area, where the median income is $59,000. Based on an average home price of $245,000, those buyers are about $10,000 short. Bangor passes the affordability test when it comes to buying a home, as does the Lewiston-Auburn area, but barely, with just over 40% of the area unable to keep up with the high costs. Now, when it comes to rent, Bangor fails. The average renter of a 2-bedroom apartment makes $28,000 when they need to be making $32,000 to afford their apartment. Lewiston-Auburn also fails. The average renter making $7,000 less than they need to afford the apartment, which is actually right on par with renters in Portland. Nearly 60% of renters in the city cannot afford their apartments based on income. Now, if you're wondering who's included in that, Portland's Planning and Urban Development Department made a presentation to Portland City Council last week admitting there is a trend in costly housing. That presentation breaks down income levels for public servants, from teachers to firefighters and police officers. Even their average salaries do not cover the cost of housing. Chris?
All right, Amanda, thanks. Your full forecast is next on News Center Now. We will see a nice summer day tomorrow. Keith is back with how long the nice weather will last. Here's an update to a story we brought you a few weeks ago. Old Orchard Beach is considering options for additional bathrooms for beach visitors starting next year. Officials say the restrooms in Town Square and in the Milliken Street parking lot will remain the only public restrooms available this summer. The meeting comes after some Old Orchard Beach residents claim they have seen beachgoers relieving themselves outside. The assistant town manager says people living near the Union Avenue entrance to the beach asked for portable toilets to be put up as a short-term solution for this season. The state says portable toilets are not allowed on the ocean side of the sand dunes, but are allowed on the land side. A group is scheduled to meet next month to work out a plan to add more restrooms for the 2018 season.
Athletes from Maine are getting ready for the 2018 Olympic Games, which are now just 6 months away. You'll be able to watch all of the excitement of the Winter Olympics right here on News Center. Meanwhile, News Center's Jessica Gagne caught up with a Telstar High School UMaine grad who is vying for his spot on the U.S. team.
That's right, Frank Del Duca. I was happy to speak with him, and you know, they actually have a countdown clock in the Lake Placid facility where Del Duca lives and trains, but he doesn't pay too much attention to it. His focus is on hitting his day-to-day goals and preparing his body for team trials. Spending time in the gym is nothing new for Del Duca. He was a standout track athlete at the University of Maine. It wasn't until 2015 when he was first introduced to bobsledding, and he's been pushing forward ever since.
Towards the end of college, a couple athletes were saying they wanted to try out for the bobsled team, and I'm like, how do you try out for that? Like, there's no tracks or anything around here in Maine. And they said, yeah, there's a track in Lake Placid.
He attended a rookie combine in 2015 and was living at the Olympic Training Center a month later. Frank Del Duca's mission since then has been to prove himself as a push athlete. He's on track to earning a spot on the 2018 U.S. Olympic bobsled team, but knows that nothing is set in stone.
Every minute I'm in the training center, I try to get the most out of it that I can, and every minute I'm sprinting or lifting, I definitely give everything I have, because I know that everyone else is as well, and it's something that I can't expect or take for granted.
Del Duca says it's easy for him to train hard, especially when he thinks about those who have made sacrifices and supported him on his journey.
My parents, my uncle, my girlfriend, my friends, and people that have just heard my story. They'll send donations and send me text messages or emails, and it means the world to me.
Working each day for the chance to represent them, the state of Maine, and the country on a national stage.
It's an honor, really, and it's an opportunity that I didn't expect or I didn't think I would have. And it's something that I'm just super grateful for, and yeah, it's a great opportunity.
Del Duca says his ultimate goal would be to win an Olympic medal for the U.S. as a push athlete on the bobsled team, then come back and win another one as a bobsled pilot. Big goals, whereas my goal is to just get to the gym one day. I mean, you saw some of those squats. I can't
lifts. Yeah, we could be on either side of that bar, and I'm pretty sure he'd have no problem.
Maybe Coco too, and I'm sure he'd still be able to
throw Keith in there too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, Chris.
Very cool. Hey, if you want to get outside, now's the time to do it before that snow comes. Keith Carson's here with a look at the weather.
Snow?
Hey, Keith.
What? Oh, we're talking about the winter.
Yeah, 6 months from now.
I know, it is a long time to talk. I like the Olympics. 6 months is a long time to talk about it. Anywho, this is the rain that we got overnight early tomorrow this morning. We got about 1/4 of an inch in most spots, up to 1/2 inch. Not enough to truly get rid of the drought that we're sliding into, but it did help a bit. Most of the rain now well offshore. We do have a few showers though back across parts of New Hampshire and western parts of Maine. Satellite pictures showing clearing. You know, the mountains in northern Maine actually saw a pretty nice day after the early rain. They cleared out quickly. The coastline, though, has been slower to clear. Now the sun getting through there, late day sun, and the rest of tonight will actually be clear and relatively cool, with temperatures dropping into the 50s and even some upper 40s. So there goes that coastal low. Again, you know, the bulk of the real heavy precipitation, unfortunately for the drought situation, was offshore. That's where those 1 inch amounts were, and we ended up with lesser amounts. That'll continue to move away, and tomorrow's a good looking day. High pressure kind of nudging in, a lot of sunshine, just an isolated shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon, but most of us stay dry through most of the day. And then same deal on Thursday. It's all part of the edge of what we call a dirty ridge. It's a ridge that allows some precipitation on the edges of it, and that's where northern New England, Maine specifically, will be Wednesday and Thursday. So most of those days will be nice, but there will be isolated showers in the afternoon. We do that one more time on Friday. A good looking day generally, but some afternoon showers around. So hour by hour forecast. Tomorrow morning we start off with a ton of sunshine. Notice though, by tomorrow afternoon, a few showers start popping up. This is really light stuff. It's going to tend to stay in the mountains and foothills, with just 1 or 2 of them getting to the coastline by around dinner time or so, then moving out. And we do the same thing again on Thursday. We start with a bunch of sunshine. We fuel a couple of showers in the afternoon. Most of those, though, move away. Here's something to watch that's way out in the future, about 8 days or so. But the European model has now done this for 4 runs in a row, so it's worth at least discussing at this point. And what it's doing is it's bringing a tropical system up here off the Atlantic, over the Carolinas, and then what I'd consider within shouting distance of Maine by mid next week. Again, this is nothing to hang your hat on. It's pretty far out there, and some of the other ensembles are not doing this. But anytime I see the Euro do something 4 or 5 times in a row, it's worth talking about. So we'll watch that again. That would be the 16th, so we're talking a while from now. Still, something to keep me busy, guys. Otherwise, just isolated showers around. This weekend, I continue to not love, but I think it's slightly improving. Seeing a little bit more sunshine on Saturday than I originally would have thought, and some scattered showers again on Sunday. But I don't see either of the weekend days at this point being totally lock it in nice days. And then clouds increase Monday. And again, we'll watch mid next week and see if something cooks up here. My sense is typically it's hard to get a tropical system into Maine in early August. The water temperature is very cold. But stranger things have happened, so we'll see.
All right, if it does, we'll get a braindrops out of you.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right. Why would someone kidnap a deer and bring it to a bar? We're not sure, but someone did that in Arizona. Wildlife experts say the fawn will have to spend the rest of its life in captivity now. The Arizona Game and Fish Department will keep it for a few days before sending it to Wildlife Sanctuary. What an awful story. And now we'll be right back. All right, quick update to the results of that Pulse question we were asking you.
Right, we asked you who should be responsible for removing lead, the state, the city or town, or the property owner. Here's what we've got for our results right now. 79% of you saying the property owner should be responsible for removing the lead. 20% of you say the state, and 1% says the city or the town.
Interesting. Thanks for weighing in.
Yeah, and you can go to pulse.newscentermaine.com if you still want to weigh in these last couple seconds.
All right.
Surprised we got 20% state. That's higher than I would have thought. Today's brain drops is weirder than it sounds. So bees can understand Oh, what are we doing here? Are we not doing this?
Oh, we should talk
right.
about this really, really quickly. On Saturday, August 19th, we had 7 shelters across the state. It's a part of a nationwide effort that will waive or reduce adoption fees to help homeless pets find loving and permanent homes. You can find a list of those shelters in Maine taking part on our website and mobile app. And we're going to have on-air coverage of the Clear the Shelters Day, and we'll even introduce you to some of our own pets, like yours.
Yeah, like cute little Reese's. We just really don't want to get to you, clearly.
No, that's fine. The pets are definitely more important than me. I just didn't know we were doing it. Okay, so today's Brain Drops is the fact that they just recently learned that bees can understand the number 0. This sounds really strange, but this is how they figured it out. First of all, they couldn't ask the bees to do arithmetic or anything, right? So they set up these cylinders, and they had different numbers of cylinders. And on the cylinders that were more, so 2 versus 1, they put a sour, kind of acidic tasting, not treat, but something for them to eat. On the 1, the smaller number, they put a sweet treat. So what they had to find out is, could the bees figure out to go to the lower number? So in this case, 2 to 1. In other cases, 3 to 2. And the bees, 80% of the time, picked the lower one because they associated that with a sweet treat. So they figured out how to count. They already knew that.
Okay.
Then they did it where they put 1 and none. And this is where most animals actually can't figure it out. This is amazing. And if you think about it, actually humans are the same way. Humans learn to count. Little kids learn to count, but they don't understand 0 yet. So if you ask a little kid sometimes which is bigger, 2 or 0, that doesn't compute yet, even though they can count all the way up maybe to 20. They don't get the idea of 0. So back to the bee study, you may notice, can we just go back to that graphic real quick? You may notice that there's not a cylinder there, it's a sphere. The reason they did that, guys, is they wanted to make sure that the bees weren't just associating certain shapes with the right number. So they went back and they did different shapes. So what they found was when they did 1 versus 0 or 2 versus 0, the bees still, 80% of the time, were picking 0. And this is the first invertebrate they found that understands the concept of 0, which is funny because they have been generally not considered to have the largest, brains out there, but they can figure out the concept of 0, which is going to be great if you need a bee for an accountant at some point in your life. It is truly astonishing what scientists study. I'm not sure what the application is of this, but I just thought it was really cool.
So that was my next question for you.
I don't know. They always like to figure out what animals can and cannot understand. Speaking of dogs, for example, dogs are very smart, learning from other creatures, but can't understand things being connected, hence why they trip over the leashes. Connectivity is something that dog brains can't understand.
Really interesting.
That has an application, though.
Look at you, pulling in a second Brain Drops. All right, News Center at 5:30 starts right now.